So the AI are pretty accurate if you give them good enough detection. They can hit, they can hit a target the size of a circle. But what they can't hit is an AI the size of a circle. You used to be able to set target prioritization to aim for AI, but when they overhauled the detection, and by overhauled the detection, I mean added detection components rather than the older builds where your AI computer was just omniscient and knew exactly where the enemy's AI was. Once you started having to actually, scan for the enemy, they also made it so your AI had no way of knowing the AI's location, the enemy AI's location. I'm better than that. I'm stronger than that. I'm smarter than that. And more importantly, I've got this shit on my side. So, I'm going to use Lua to make a railgun that will snipe the enemy's AI, and if all goes well, if all goes perfectly, it will shoot at ridiculous speeds, hit the AI pinpoint, and release a giant internal spalling explosion. Perhaps EMP, perhaps flak, I don't know, but it will explode, or if we get it consistent enough, it can just be kinetic and pierce through to the AI, and it will insta-kill any ship. Now, you might be wondering how I'm going to get the rifle to identify where the AI is. First, let me set some shit up to make sure this is actually possible, because I don't know, I'm just winging it. I always just wing it with these. So this is some very basic code. I've used it in multiple of my other... I've made it a while ago, and I've used it in multiple other projects. Basically what this does is if get number of targets is greater than 0, so if we have any number of targets more than 0, so if there's a target, then it's going to check every single target individually and find the one that the AI has the highest priority, because there's target prioritization. I can't get the name of the target. Oh no. So what the plan was to figure out the name of the target. And the title of this video is "This ship can one-shot every ship in from the depths." Not player-made ships. The idea was to manually make a giant library of the AI locations of every single ship. Of every single built-in ship. And then find the target's name and scan through and find find the location of the AI on that specific target and then kill it like that. But... ooh, how do we get the target's name? I was hoping that would just be visible to us. Primary target. Volume. Okay, hear me out. If this is going to one-shot, it has to one-shot. What's the chance that there are 2 ships in the game with exactly identical volume? If we use the library based on volume, then it will work. Because... it will work because we will know for a fact that it's not damaged yet as the engagement starts. So it will be a true one-shot in that it will only work if they're at full health. If they get pinged once and like a half slope gets knocked off, no. Unless we're gonna do we can do Price is Right bullshit and find the next... if we don't identify one, we find the next highest one and presume it's that, but I think it's funnier if we just don't. We could do that. And it'd be like, oh, it's 548 blocks? There's no ship in the game that's 548 blocks, but there is one that's 562, so we're going to assume it's that one. And obviously it would only assume it's one that's had more of it, because there's no way that mid-combat a ship would have more blocks. Effective range is 141,000. That's... I'm pretty sure... I'm pretty sure that can hit over here. Hang on. 95 by 95 kilometers. So, yeah, that can hit across Novus. Nope, not Novus, neither. I haven't been playing too much from the depths. In fact, I wanna check something real quick. Alright. Put something right here. And we fire at it. Holy shit. There's no way. Right? Are you fucking kidding me? Is it going to make it? Come on. Come on, I swear to God if this thing hits. It's lagging like crazy hard now for some reason. Oh my God, what's it doing to my PC? Okay, and now it's fine. I missed. You know what I think that might have been? I think that might have been gravity. I think it might have been the tiny bit of loss due to gravity that caused it to miss. So what kind of velocity fall off do we have? It falls off very slowly. So we can assume that its muzzle velocity of 260, like 2660 or whatever. Whatever it was. We'll assume that and do the math to find how we need to set the timed fuse based on the range to that. That is assuming we can set the timed fuse. Safety distance minimums out at 200. And if this is a 200 meter range weapon, it's kind of useless. Makes this whole thing, this whole fuse bullshit useless. Why are you tweaking? Alright, well anyway, it's logging its range. Let's see if it doesn't work when we just go to a further distance. Okay, if it's below a certain range, it's just fucked. For some reason. Alright, and we're going to measure the exact distance at which it drops down to the next level. And that's how we're going to do it. We're going to manually record these values for the current gun and then just use those. So now its offset is exactly -1 at... Uplogging. 1500. MathF library has an inverse lerp. It's like, instead of lerping between the two, you give it the 2 points and then the value, and it tells you how much you lerp. So it'll be, would it just be I minus 1 plus mathf dot inverse loop lerp of points I minus 1 point range? That's gonna make no sense to a lot of people, actually, I'm now realizing. But the few people who understand what just happened are gonna be like, yo, that's pog as shit. I swear, please, 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 someone in the comments validate me. Please, I need to know that someone else is excited about this. I was also like hogging my ass off because they actually bothered to list all of the identifiers for their format string, and I'm like, that's gonna make logging so easy. Please, please, I don't want to pretend I'm not a nerd in the comments. Please, everyone, tell me how cool and adult and normal I am in the comments. My ego needs it right now. We're gonna want to aim And then if track count is greater than or equal to 320, then we're going to set track count back to 0 and fire the weapon. So basically, once we've locked onto a target, we spend 8 seconds aiming and then fire once and then restart that 8-second timer. Let's spawn our guy in. All right. Tracks in. A couple seconds later. Interesting. I think it worked. After a few seconds, well, probably a little bit longer because it has to charge. It's got some accuracy issues at longer ranges. If we don't recognize it, okay, so if we don't recognize it, and last track name, there is something. We did track something at some point. Right here, we're going to make sure last track name equals nil. We're going to set it. So if we were tracking something last tick, but we no longer recognize what we're tracking, we're going to assume it's the same thing. But we've knocked things off. So now it's no longer recognizable. Desert boa. Locks onto its chest. What the fuck? Oh. This is dope. Mad Max. I guess Dustwind Gang are very Mad Max in general, but... Holy shit. Imagine drunk driving this. Oh, shit, I don't have to imagine. What the hell? Are those... What are those? Plasma shots? No, those are normal... Why do they look like that? Why do they have such insane tracers? What? Anyway, it takes the offset. Now, what if we change its offset, programmed in, with the patchwork? Make it be forward. I love how you can see the snow is so clearly a particle effect just generated at the camera. When you go back and you see the snow just falling. It's so shit. Alright, so now it's aiming behind. Like straight behind. Right, so I forgot a part. Got a critical part where I have to multiply it by the ship's forward vector. Just realized I need, but I don't know if I can tell, the forward. What if we do the velocity dot normalized? Like, we can assume that it's going to be always moving forward. Which is not a safe assumption, but it's the assumption we're making. One very important thing to remember is also we need to lead the shot. So let's just... Okay. 3,552 meters per second is going to be our velocity with every shot. Just the fact that you can't figure out which way is forward is such a ruiner for this idea. Yep. Oh, there we go. Come on. Shit. Well, how much does this cost? 34K? I have an idea. Certainly there will be no issue with this. I think we're gonna work fine. Look at how perfectly they all converge on one point. Alright, now I have to wait for the tracking cycle to go back up again. Come on, man. Come on, man. Alright. Baby basking shark's a terrible idea. I think it's too heavily armored to even push through. Perfect. Perfect. Let's run it again. Oh, oh, oh. One issue I'm noticing is the center of mass shifts when, like, cannons turn. That's quite annoying. See, I think this one might miss. One did miss. Or did it not? Did it fail to penetrate all the way? Where did it hit? There's no way my railgun got stopped by this fucking water, did it? Oh. Oh my god. Yeah, no. It's that. Like, look at how inconsistent it is when it's flicking around. This is just because it doesn't know which way is forward. That's what the issue is. And so it's doing all of this janky flickering because center of mass is changing. It's recalculating forward every single tick. But look at how close it is, you know? I feel like if we just mount multiple of these, it'll be good. And make them fire a little bit faster too. So that they're actually like repeated fire ones. But if we switch it off of diff, it's gonna... I don't know how we can make this any better. Well, for now, I don't know. I think the devs didn't want me to do this and did a pretty good job of preventing me from doing this, but a little bit of refining. Replacing these with like rapid fire railguns, it's gonna require me to redo a bunch of the calculations, redo the like fall of shot calculation. I'm gonna have to redo, well, I can just plug in the new muzzle velocity, but fall of shot calculation is gonna be the annoying one. But I think I'm gonna call that there. I'm tired. And I really don't see much way of continuing to make this better. I think the dream of the one-shot railgun that snipes the AI, just not possible unless there's something I'm missing. If there was a reliable way to calculate the ships forward, then it would be possible. If it was just reliable to calculate forward, then it would be great. And if there was a way to, instead of having to aim it myself, if there's a way to say, like, set the aim point to this position, if I could set the aim point, that would be amazing. So maybe I can set the aim point position. I didn't even try that. Let's see if this does anything. Alright, we're gonna undo the removal of the global fire point. And this is just now that where we aim at. And I set target info dot aim point position. Alright, target info dot aim point position equals aim direction. Apply. And now if I make this AI controlled, this would be hilarious if this works. and saddening if this works, and joyous if this works. I will feel so many emotions if this shit works. Plunderer. No shot. No shot. I can just set the aim point. Wait, is it locking on to the AI? Are we dead ass? I could have just done that the whole time and all of that like fall of shot calculation is for nothing. Is it? Or... But yeah, it looks like I've just set the AI to lock on to the point where I want. Exactly where I want. It's not moving it. Okay, maybe it doesn't work. Either way, I have grown tired of this project. I have grown very weary of this project. I guess I should mention as an aside, oh hey, it's this recording we're doing. Always record in MKV. So if it gets interrupted, it doesn't vanish. I have no intention of abandoning this. I will bring this back in a future episode. So, if you liked what you saw, I will be making an actual ship out of this and actually giving it enough railguns that it will fire at a decent rate in an area. Knowing where the AI is huge, and the fact that the railguns are hitting in an area, I guess my disappointment kind of belied that it was actually working mostly, but my dream of one-shotting the AI with a sniped shot looks like will not be real. But it's still going to be massively effective, and once we mount that on a proper ship and start just like taking a chunk out where the AI is, and then just peppering it with so many, I say peppering, nailing it with so many railgun shots that it eventually dies. It's gonna be huge. So subscribe or check out my Discord. You can get video announcements and you'll get to see the video a little bit early too. That's something I'm doing now. So yeah, that's post video Kenan note over.